A few months ago, a student of mine told me that she had wanted to tell her manager that her presentation was inspiring, but she couldn't find the right words. So in the end, she said nothing. And then afterward, she felt like she missed a chance to connect. I'm curious if you've ever had a moment like that, where you wanted to say something kind to a colleague, but you didn't really know how to say it in English. Or maybe you worried it would sound too personal or strange. So instead, you said nothing. And then maybe later you replayed the moment in your head, wondering if they thought you didn't care, or worse, that you were distant or unfriendly, when that's not true at all. If you've ever felt that way, today I want to show you exactly how to give a confident, natural compliment at work in English without feeling awkward or crossing a line. But before we get into the phrases and examples to follow, I want to talk about why compliments matter in English speaking workplaces. Because understanding the why will help you feel more comfortable using them. In many English speaking workplaces, compliments are more than just being nice. They're part of how people build trust, strengthen relationships, and stay motivated. When you give a thoughtful compliment, you show that you noticed someone's effort, skill, or contribution. And that small moment of recognition can have a big impact on your colleague and on your relationship. If giving compliments isn't common in your culture, or if it feels a little uncomfortable in English, that's okay. It's why I've created this lesson to make it easier. Learning how to do it naturally can help you feel more confident and more connected at work. Now that we've talked about why compliments matter in English speaking workplaces, let's focus on how to give them so that they feel clear, confident, and appropriate. And here's the good news: you don't have to sound poetic or overly formal. You just need a structure that helps you to say something short, sincere, and specific. I'm going to say those three words again because these are the keys to a successful compliment: short, sincere, specific. So, to do this easily, I'm going to share two formulas or structures that you can use in everyday work situations. And each one has a different purpose. One helps you highlight what someone did, and the other helps you recognize who someone is, such as their positive traits or habits at work. So, structure number one is very simple: thank you plus the word because. This first structure focuses on what someone did and why it mattered. This is ideal when a colleague helps you, supports the team, or makes a contribution that has a clear positive impact. And in many English speaking workplaces, this kind of compliment is expected. It's part of team communication and relationship building. Again, this doesn't need to be long or formal. Instead, it is always best to be short, sincere, and specific. So here's how this structure works. Step one, express gratitude. For example, thank you, or I appreciate you. And then step two, say what they did. For example, thank you for covering, thank you for offering, or I appreciate you working late. And finally, explain why it mattered. So you might add language like, because I couldn't have made it to my daughter's recital without your help. Or because we wouldn't have caught those errors without your extra effort. And here's one more. Maybe because your calm helped everyone refocus. Now, let's put all of that together and look at two real examples. In this first situation, I want you to imagine that your colleague does you a favor. Imagine you have urgent client calls scheduled, but your daughter has a piano recital. You're stressed, and a colleague offers to take the calls so you can leave on time. And so the next day you say, thank you so much for covering my client calls yesterday. I couldn't have made it to my daughter's recital without your help. That example is short and sincere. Plus, it clearly communicates why their help mattered to you. And now here's a second situation. Your colleague saves the day. Let's say that your team is finalizing a financial report, and one colleague catches a major calculation error that would have cost your company thousands of dollars. So when that happens, you might say, "Thank you for catching that accounting error. If you hadn't noticed it, we would have lost 10% of our profit this month." That compliment shows how you appreciate their attention to detail and how it protected the team along with the company. So now it's your turn. I want you to take a moment and think of someone who has helped you recently. What did they do? What impact did it have? Write down one compliment using that formula. Thank you plus because. Okay, well, that first structure focused on a specific moment. This next one is more personal. It shows someone that you see them, not just their task list or the work they do. It helps you highlight the strengths or qualities that a colleague consistently brings to your team, like work ethic, their attitude, their communication style, or their ability to handle stress. This kind of compliment builds deeper trust. It shows that you see the value that they bring, not just in one moment, but over time. And here's how it works. Step number one, show admiration or appreciation. So you might use I admire, I appreciate, or I value. And then step two, name the specific trait or behavior that you value. For example, your ability to explain complex ideas, or the way that you stay calm even under pressure, your dedication to helping others on the team. And then in step three, add context or describe the impact. For example, during tough deadlines or in team meetings. Again, I want to take a look at two real life examples to put all of this together. In the first situation, I want you to imagine a colleague who consistently exceeds expectations. And let's say your team is learning a difficult new software. Everyone's frustrated, but one colleague picks it up quickly and then helps the others. So you might say, "I admire how quickly you mastered this new software and how you helped the rest of the team catch up." Or, "Thank you for working tirelessly to learn this new system. Because of your help, the whole team can move forward with confidence. I owe you one." And then here's one more situation to consider. You have a colleague who improves the atmosphere or culture at work. So imagine it's been a tough week with deadlines, stress, and low energy. But one person always finds a way to lighten the mood and bring some perspective. So you might say, "I value your ability to lighten the mood, especially when things get tense." Or, "I appreciate how you always seem to know the right thing to say when the team is stressed. It makes a real difference." Again, all of these examples are short, sincere, and specific, but they show that you see the person and you value what they bring to your team. So, again, let's do a quick practice. I want you to think of one quality you admire in a colleague and try using this formula. I admire, and then the trait or skill, plus why it matters. Now that you've got these two clear structures for professional compliments, there's one final piece that makes all the difference: how you say it. Even the most thoughtful words can feel awkward if they come out too formally or sound memorized. So, here are some tips to help your compliments sound natural and confident in English, especially in a work setting. First, keep your tone warm and conversational. Remember, you're not giving a speech, you're just talking to a colleague. So keep your voice relaxed and kind, like you would with a friend. And if you're not sure how to do that, there's a simple tip: just smile a little bit. It will immediately soften your voice and bring warmth. The second thing is to make eye contact if it's in person. You don't have to hold it for a long time. You don't have to stare at them. But that one natural moment of connection helps your words land and feel more sincere. And number three, smile, even a small one. I know that Americans are known for showing all their teeth when they smile, and you don't have to do this. Even a small smile goes a long way. Not only does it immediately relax the situation and make your words sound genuine, relaxing your voice and bringing warmth along the way, If you feel nervous, a small smile can also help you relax in the moment. The fourth thing to keep in mind here is don't overtalk. Remember, one sentence is enough. A short, sincere compliment goes so much further than something that feels long or forced. And that's it. Those are the things to keep in mind to make sure how you say it matches the warmth and kindness of your words. Now, along with how you deliver a compliment, it's also important to think about when, where, and to whom you say it. These small choices can change how your message is received. So, here are three considerations to keep in mind. Number one, timing matters. The best time to give a compliment is right after someone does something meaningful. That way, it feels fresh and it shows that you noticed in the moment. But if you miss that chance, that's okay. You can still come back to it later. You might try starting with, I've been meaning to tell you, or I've been thinking about what you did last week. And then the second thing is to consider the setting. If what your colleague did benefited the whole team, then a public compliment, like in a meeting, might be appropriate and appreciated. But if the compliment is more personal or you're unsure how the person will feel about public recognition, then it's safer to share it privately. So that could be a one on one meeting or a quick message. And then finally, think about your relationship. Would you say the same thing to your manager as you would to a teammate? You might not. So before you give a compliment, ask yourself, how well do I know this person? Are we equal peers or is there a workplace hierarchy? Is this a formal or informal work culture? These questions help you choose the right level of formality and ensure that your compliment feels respectful and appropriate. I've got one more thing for you. Now that you know what works, let's make sure that your compliment doesn't create confusion or discomfort. Even when your intentions are good, there are a few common mistakes that can make compliments feel awkward or even inappropriate in English speaking workplaces. So let's go through what to avoid. Number one, don't overdo it. Again, a compliment should feel genuine. But if it's too frequent, too dramatic, or too over the top, it can feel fake and make the other person uncomfortable. Let me give you some examples of what not to say. Number one, you're absolutely amazing, incredible, brilliant. Or you're way better than John at this. That first one sounds exaggerated and there's no specificity. We don't know why someone is amazing, incredible, and brilliant. And then the second one creates awkward comparisons that could hurt team dynamics. So again, keep it simple, keep it specific. The second thing to avoid is to avoid anything personal. Generally speaking, compliments at work should stay focused on someone's work contributions, their actions, or professional qualities. Here's a simple acronym my team created to help you remember what not to compliment at work. The acronym is FLAPS. F is for fashion. L is for looks or appearance. A is for age-related comments. P is for personal relationships. And S for sexual or suggestive comments. Even if you mean it kindly, these types of compliments can feel too personal, make someone uncomfortable, or cross professional boundaries. So, when in doubt, keep your compliments work focused and focused on what the person does or contributes. You now have two powerful structures to give compliments at work, and you've seen some real examples. You know what to say and what not to say. So here's a challenge for you. I want you to write one compliment using one of the formulas from this lesson. Think of someone you work with, someone who helped you, supported the team, or made a difficult day better. Use one of these formulas. Try thank you with because or I admire, and then highlight a specific trait and why it's important to you or why it matters. And the best part is it can be one sentence. That's all it takes to make someone feel seen and valued. With that, thank you so much for joining me today. And if this helped you, don't forget to follow or subscribe wherever you're listening or watching today, or share it with someone you know who would love to hear this. Thank you again, and I look forward to next time.